I was holding the box with both hands when he looked at me and said, "Seriously? Is this what you've kept all these years?" It wasn't the anger in his voice that broke me. It was the contempt. That look you give to something that has no value whatsoever. And suddenly everything I thought meant love. All the choices, all the sacrifices, all the objects I carried as proof that I tried, turned to dust. Because he wasn't rejecting a family heirloom. He was rejecting who I had always been. I created a stranger. And it took me 32 years to accept that maybe it was never about the gift. Maybe it was about what I expected to receive in return, and about the price I paid for waiting. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, in a house where objects meant more than words. My father never said, "I love you," but he kept his grandfather's watch in a velvet box for 40 years. My mother never hugged anyone, but she framed every graduation photo, every certificate, every drawing we made in school. They didn't know how to express affection, but they knew how to preserve memory. When my father died in 2009, he left 3 things: a paid-off house, an empty bank account, and that watch. My mother handed me the box at the wake in front of everyone and said, "He wanted you to have it. You're the oldest." I held it as if I were holding his hand, because in a way, I was. The watch was an Elgin from 1948. Manual winding, cracked ivory dial, leather strap that smelled of talcum powder and cigarettes. It wasn't even worth $1,000, but it was worth everything. Because my grandfather wore that watch the day he bought his first house. My father wore it at his wedding. And I swore that one day, when my son was ready, I would pass it on to him. I kept it in a locked drawer. I didn't use it. I didn't show it. I waited. I thought that waiting was an honor. But waiting can also mean postponing disappointment. My son, Tyler, was born in 2003. He was my second chance. My wife, Rachel, was an elementary school teacher. I worked as a civil engineer at a small firm in Wilkes-Barre. We weren't rich, but we were stable. And stability, in my mind, was love in the form of routine. Tyler grew up in silence. Not traumatic silence. Comfortable silence. He watched TV while I reviewed blueprints at the dining table. He played video games while Rachel graded papers. We existed in the same house without friction. And I thought that was peace. I never realized that peace without conversation is just absence. When Tyler turned 18 in 2021, he started at Penn State. I paid for the first semester with the savings I'd accumulated since he was born. Rachel cried in the dorm parking lot. I helped carry the boxes and said, "Call me if you need anything." He nodded. He went inside. He didn't call. And I thought that was normal. That every child moves away from their parents. That it was part of growing up. But do you know when something is wrong and you choose not to see it? When distance ceases to be geography and becomes disinterest? I knew. I just didn't want to admit it. Until Christmas 2023. That December, Tyler was 20 years old. He came home late on the 23rd. He went inside, threw his backpack on the floor, and went straight to his room. Rachel tried to talk to him. He mumbled something about being tired. I stayed in the living room, waiting. Dinner was silent. Not a comfortable silence. A tense silence. The kind you feel in your chest. Tyler was, fiddling with his phone while we ate. Rachel asked about classes. He answered with monosyllables. I asked about his friends. He shrugged. And then, in the middle of dessert, he blurted out, "I'm going to spend New Year's Eve with the guys from Philly." Rachel froze. I said, "We always go through this together." He didn't even look at me. "I know, but I want to go." That's not what he said. It was like, as if we were an obligation, an item on the list. Family. Check. Now I can live. Rachel tried to negotiate. I stayed quiet. And when he went upstairs to the room, after hurriedly helping with the dishes, I felt something break. It wasn't anger. It was recognition. He wasn't walking away. He had already left. The next day, I woke up early. I went to the drawer. I took out the watch box. I sat on the edge of the bed looking at it in the dim morning light. Rachel was still asleep. I thought, maybe now, maybe this will bring him back. Because deep down you know I wasn't giving you the watch. I was trying to buy attention. Have you ever caught yourself trying to force someone to feel what you need them to feel? Holding on to something that only has value to you, hoping it will become a bridge? I did that. And what happened afterward changed how I see family, gratitude, and deservingness. If you've ever given too much to someone who never asked for it, stay with me. Subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching me from now? I read them all. I promise. I waited until the afternoon of the 26th. Tyler was on the couch in a sweatshirt, watching some series on his laptop with headphones on. I went downstairs with the box. I sat next to him. I touched his shoulder. He took off one of his headphones. What it was? I placed the box on the coffee table. I want to give you something. He looked at the box. There was no curiosity in his gaze. There was impatience. Now? It's important. He sighed. He paused the series. He picked up the box. He opened it. He looked at the clock. He turned to the sides. He closed the box. Legal. Legal. 30 years of waiting. 3 generations of men. An object that survived 2 wars, 4 house moves, a divorce, and a death. And the word he chose was cool. I took a deep breath. This watch belonged to your great-grandfather. It passed to your grandfather. He gave it to me before he died. I kept it for you. Tyler opened the box again. He looked more closely, but it wasn't admiration. It was analysis, like someone evaluating whether it's worth selling. It's old, isn't it? 1948. Does it work? You need to wind it up, but it works. He closed the box again. He placed it on the small table. Thanks, Dad. And he returned to the series. Thanks, Dad. I sat there, waiting for him to ask more, waiting for him to understand. But he just put his headphones back on and pressed play. Rachel appeared in the kitchen. She saw the box. She saw my face. She came over to me. Did he like it? I didn't answer. She took my hand. He's young. He doesn't yet understand the value of these things. Young. 20 years old. The same age I was when my father taught me how to change the oil in a car, how to fix a faucet, how to shake someone's hand while looking them in the eye. I wasn't too young to learn respect. I was taught. But Tyler wasn't taught. Because I never taught it. I just gave. I paid. I solved it. I made it easy. And I thought that was enough. That he would absorb gratitude by osmosis. That unconditional love meant never charging, never demanding, never saying no. And now I was holding the proof of my mistake. That night, Tyler went out. He said he was going to meet some friends. He came back at 3 in the morning. I heard the door. I heard him come upstairs. I didn't sleep. I kept thinking, when did I lose my son? And the answer came cold, clear, when I stopped being a father and became a financier. Tyler left on the 28th. He came back to Penn State. Early. He said he had some work to get ahead on. His backpack was still half full. His bed wasn't even made. He hugged Rachel at the door. He patted me on the shoulder. Thanks for the parties. And so it was. The box was left on the coffee table. He forgot about it. Or maybe he didn't forget. He left on purpose. Rachel put it in a drawer in the living room. She didn't say anything. But I saw it in her eyes. She had noticed it too. We just didn't know what to do with what we had noticed. I went back to work in January. Routine, plants, meetings, lunch alone in the car. I called Tyler every week. He answered 1 out of every 3 calls. When he did answer, he said he was busy. He promised to call back later. He never did. I sent a message asking if he had received the watch safely. He read it. He didn't reply. 1 week later, Ah, yes, it's here. Here it is. Like an order from Amazon. Rachel said I was being dramatic, that every father goes through this, that it was just a phase, that he would appreciate it when he got older. But have you ever noticed how we use phase to avoid facing the obvious? February arrived. Tyler turned 21. I called that day. It went to voicemail. I texted, "Happy birthday, son. I love you." He saw it. 3 hours later. Thanks. It cost. I sat in the garage that night, alone with a warm beer in my hand, looking at the tools I never taught him to use, the workbench where we never built anything together, the empty space where memories could have been, and I realized I wasn't sad because he didn't love me. I was sad because he didn't know me, and I never really introduced myself. I only paid him so he wouldn't have to look for me. In March, the company started laying off people. I escaped, but the workload increased. I started working late, weekends. Rachel complained. I told her I needed to secure stability, for retirement, for the future. But that was a lie. I was running away, fleeing the empty house, the forgotten box, the son who became a guest. And then April came. Rachel called me at work. Strange voice. Tyler texted, "He's bringing a girlfriend home this weekend." Girlfriend. First time I'd heard of it. I didn't know he was dating anyone. I didn't know her name. I didn't know anything. And even so, I smiled, because part of me thought that maybe, just maybe, this was a chance to start over, to get to know my son through the eyes of someone who loved him. I didn't know it was going to get worse. They arrived Saturday morning. Tyler went in first, wearing a baseball cap and a backpack. Behind him was a slim girl with her brown hair tied back and a polite smile. "Mom, Dad, this is Jenna." She shook my hand firmly, looked me in the eyes. Polite, perhaps even sincere. Rachel made coffee. We sat in the living room, light conversation. Jenna was studying psychology, also at Penn State. They met at a party. They had been together for 5 months. 5 months. And it was the first time. We'd heard of it. But I didn't say anything. I just listened and observed. Tyler was different with her, more relaxed. He laughed. He told stories I'd never heard before. He talked about classes, teachers, plans, things that were always monosyllabic with me. And Jenna was listening. Really listening. She touched his arm. She asked questions. She cared. I saw my son open up to someone, and it hurt to realize it wasn't for me. That afternoon, Rachel went to the market. Tyler and Jenna stayed in the living room. I went to the garage. I got the toolbox. I came back. "Tyler, I need to fix the guest room door. Can you help me?" He looked at Jenna. He looked at me. "Now?" "It will only take 10 minutes. He sighed. He stood up. "Yes." We went into the hallway. I opened the toolbox. I took out the screwdriver. I handed it to him. "Hold on here." He held on. He stood still, waiting for instructions, like a temporary helper, not like a son. I started tightening the hinge screws. Silence. "So, you and Jenna? And she seems nice." "That's cool." Silence again. I finished tightening it. I tested the door. It's still creaking. It needs grease. I went to get it. I came back. I passed by the hinge. Tyler was still standing there, looking at his cell phone. "Ready," I said. He returned the screwdriver. It cost. And he left. 10 minutes. And he didn't ask me anything. He didn't want to learn. He didn't want to stay. He simply fulfilled the request and went back to his life. Stood there alone in the hallway, holding a rusty screwdriver, and I thought, he doesn't owe me anything, because I never gave anything that required something in return. I gave money, a home, food, education, but I never showed up. And now I was collecting a debt that he never signed for. That evening at dinner, Jenna asked about the family. Rachel told stories. Jenna laughed. Tyler laughed along. I tried to join the conversation. I told a story about when Tyler was 6 years old and fell off his bicycle. He didn't remember. Jenna looked at him, surprised. Seriously? You don't remember? Tyler shrugged. That was a long time ago. A very long time, 16 years, and he had passed out, because memories only last when there's affection involved. And maybe I never gave enough affection for it to stick. On Sunday morning, Jenna woke up early. I found her in the kitchen, having coffee, looking out the window. Did you sleep well? Yes. The house is beautiful. Quiet. Silent. I don't know if that was a compliment. I sat down with her. Rachel was still asleep. Tyler, too. How long have you two been together? 5 months. But it feels longer. Is he talking about home? She hesitated. Sometimes. And what does he say? She stirred the cup. That you always gave him everything. That he never lacked anything. Nothing was ever lacking. Materially, no. But he seems distant when he talks about you. Like grateful. But distant. Grateful. But distant. She had summed up in 4 words what took me 20 years to realize. I took a deep breath. Can I show you something? She agreed. I went to the drawer. I took the box. I came back. I put it on the table. This belonged to his great-grandfather. I passed it on to Tyler at Christmas. She opened it. She looked at the clock, and her eyes changed. Wow, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Not nice. Beautiful. She picked up the watch carefully, turned it over, read the inscription on the back cover that I didn't even know. Tyler had seen, "To William, with eternal love, 1948. There's a story here, she said softly. He has. She looked at me. Did he tell you he left it in the dorm room drawer? My stomach dropped. No. He said he didn't know what to do with it, that it was beautiful, but I don't know. That it didn't suit him. It didn't suit him. A legacy spanning 3 generations. It didn't match. Jenna noticed my face. She closed the box slowly. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. No. Thank you for telling. Me. She remained quiet. Then, Tyler is amazing, but he doesn't know how to receive gifts. You know? Like, he gets uncomfortable when someone gives him something that has sentimental value. He prefers practical gifts, things he asked for, things he can control, things that he controls. Because I never let him lack anything. I never let him down. I never let him learn to value what isn't immediate. I gave him everything before he even asked, and now he didn't know how to receive anything. That required gratitude. Tyler came downstairs. He saw us at the table. He saw the box. Are you showing her the watch? She asked about my family. I showed her. He grabbed some coffee. He didn't even look at the box. Jenna tried to start a conversation. It's a beautiful piece, love. Your father was telling me the story. Yes, it's old. Old. That's all. She looked at me. I saw pity in her eyes, and that's when I understood. She felt more for me than for my own son. They left after lunch. Tyler hugged Rachel. He gave me another pat on the shoulder. Jenna gave me a real hug. It was a pleasure meeting you. And before getting into the car, she whispered, Don't give up on him. I waved until they disappeared around the corner. Rachel went inside. I stayed in the garage, looking at the tools, thinking, perhaps it's already too late not to give up, because I've already given up without realizing it. I gave up the day I chose to pay instead of being present. The following months were automatic, work, home, ignored messages, calls that went to waste. Tyler stopped answering altogether. He responded by text message, always rushed, always generic. Rachel was trying to cheer me up. He's living his life. It's normal. Normal. That word had become her shield against the truth. In June, Tyler texted to say he was going to spend the summer in Boston. Internship. Paid. He wouldn't be coming home. Rachel remained silent all day. I pretended everything was fine. But that night, alone, in the garage, I picked up the watch box again. I kept staring. and for the first time I asked myself, why did I keep this? Why did I think an object could build a bridge that I never built with words, with time, with presence? Why did I place the weight of 3 generations on a gift he never asked for? I was not honoring my father. I was outsourcing affection, placing on a clock the responsibility of saying what I never said. And Tyler had every right to refuse, because he didn't reject the watch. He rejected emotional manipulation disguised as tradition. I put the box back. I locked the drawer. And I made a decision. I wasn't going to wait for him to contact me anymore. I wasn't going to demand gratitude anymore. He was going to stop being the wounded father who gave everything and received nothing. Because the truth is, I didn't give it my all. I gave them what was easy: money, comfort, silence. But I didn't set boundaries. I didn't confront him. I didn't give him the chance to get to know me as a person, with flaws, opinions, and presence. I was a provider. I wasn't a father. And now, at 53 years old, I had to accept it. Maybe I never will be. July came in hot. Rachel started therapy. She didn't say it, but I knew it was because of Tyler. She cried at night. I pretended to be asleep. In August, she confronted me. You need to go after him. He doesn't want to. You didn't try. I've tried my whole life. You paid. You didn't try. Silence. She continued. I failed too, but at least I still want to fix it. You've already given up. I looked at her. What if it doesn't want to be fixed? Then at least you'll know you tried. But I didn't want to try, because trying meant risking ultimate rejection, and I was already too broken to survive that. So I did what I always did. I waited. Then, in September, on the anniversary of my father's death, I received a message from Tyler. 3 words. I sold the watch. I read the message 7 times. I sold the watch. No context, no explanation, no excuse, only the raw information. I sat on the edge of the bed. Rachel was in the living room. I didn't show her. I waited 10 minutes. I breathed. I typed, why? He replied quickly, I needed money. I got $800 on eBay. $800. 3 generations. A century of history. $800. I gripped the phone so tightly that my hand trembled. I typed, do you know what that meant? 3 dots. Then, I know it was important to you, but to me it was just an old watch. I'm sorry. Sorry. Like a broken glass. I didn't answer. I locked the screen. I lay on my back. I stared at the ceiling, and I felt something shatter inside me. It wasn't anger. It was acceptance. My son was not cruel. He was indifferent. And indifference is worse. Because cruelty is still about emotional involvement. Indifference is emptiness. Rachel entered the room. All good? Tyler sold the watch. She froze. What? I showed the message. She read it. She reread it. She sat on the bed. She remained silent. Next, below. I don't believe. Believe it. He couldn't have done that. He did. She picked up my phone. She started typing. I took it back. No. I'll talk to him. It's no use. He needs to understand. He'll never understand, because we raised him so he wouldn't need to understand. She looked at me, red eyes. What do we do now? I took a deep breath. Nothing. What do you mean, nothing? He made his choice. We respect it. But, Rachel, he doesn't owe us anything. We gave it. He took it. That's it. She cried. I didn't, because I no longer had any tears left for that. It was all clear. The cold clarity of someone who has finally stopped fighting against reality. That night, Rachel called Tyler. He didn't answer. She texted him. He replied the next day, Mom, I need the money for the semester. I'm sorry if I hurt you, but I don't have the same emotional attachment to these things as you do. I don't have the same emotional attachment to these things as you do. These things. Family was those kinds of things. Rachel showed me the message. She waited for my reaction. I just said, then we stop giving. She blinked. Like this? He wants to be independent? We'll let him. But the semester. He sold a watch for $800. He always finds a way. Are you serious? I looked at her. I spent 20 years paying him so he wouldn't need me. Now he doesn't need me. Mission accomplished. It was. The first time I said no. And it hurt more than I expected. Because it wasn't just about Tyler. It was about admitting that I had failed. And that continuing to pay wasn't going to fix it. It would only prolong the lie. I did not transfer the semester's money. Tyler called 3 days later. First time in months. Wait. Dad, did you see my message? We. And what? Silence from his side. Are you going to transfer or not? No. Long pause. Why? Because you said you don't have the same emotional attachment to these things as we do, so I imagine money isn't emotional either. It's purely practical. You can do it. Are you kidding me? No. Are you punishing someone because of a watch? A clock. He reduced decades of history to a clock. I'm not punishing you. I'm respecting your independence. I need this money. You made $800 selling something that wasn't yours to sell. I'm sure you can make more. Wasn't it mine? You gave it to me. I gave it to you, and you did what you wanted. Now I'm doing what I want. He took a deep breath. Louder voice. You are my father. You have an obligation to help me. Obligation. That word hit me like a punch. I was obligated to finance you until you became an adult. Now it's your choice, and I choose not to finance someone who treats me like an ATM. ATM? I'm your son. Then act like one. I hung up. My hand was trembling. Rachel was at the door. She had heard everything. You've gone too far. I went? He is our son. I know. But he doesn't act like we're his parents. He acts like we're his sponsors. He is young. He's 21 years old. I was 20 when I married you. I was working. I was paying bills. Being young is no excuse. She remained quiet. Then, you'll regret it. Maybe. But at least I won't regret continuing to allow it. She left. I sat on the sofa, alone. And for the first time in years, I felt something other than guilt. I felt relief. Because I had said no, and the world didn't end. Tyler sent messages throughout the week, all variations on the same theme. You're being immature. Mom is upset because of you. I'm going to have to take a semester off. I didn't answer any of them. Rachel cried. She begged me to change my mind. I didn't. And then, 2 weeks later, Tyler sent, I got a student loan. I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore. He thought he was going to hurt me, but it only confirmed the obvious. He never needed me. He needed my money. And now that I had another source, I was disposable. Rachel read the message. She looked at me. Satisfied? No, but relieved. Relieved? At least now he's honest. She shook her head. You lost your son. I looked at her. I never had one. And that's when I realized. Saying no wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The beginning of stopping pretending that purchased love is real love. October arrived. Tyler didn't call. He didn't text. Rachel tried to keep in touch. He rarely, responded. I stopped trying. I stopped sending good morning messages. I stopped asking how people were doing. I stopped pretending there was a relationship that never existed. And do you know what happened? Nothing. Tyler didn't miss it. Because you don't miss what you never valued. At work I focused. Projects, deadlines. I got promoted in November. A small raise, but symbolic. Rachel celebrated. We went out to dinner. For the first time in months, we talked without mentioning Tyler. She told me about the students. I told her about the new project. We laughed. We connected. And on the way back, she held my hand and said, I missed you. I felt that way too. Because I had spent so much time trying to be a father that I forgot to be a husband. I forgot that I was myself. In December, Christmas was approaching. Rachel asked, "Are you going to invite him?" "No." "Why?" "Because he doesn't want to come." "You don't know." "I know, and that's okay." She insisted. She called Tyler. He said he was going to spend it with Jenna's friends in New York. Rachel hung up. She cried. I hugged her. "We'll celebrate Christmas, just the two of us. It's not the same thing." "I know, but it's what we have." We made dinner for two. Small, simple, no big tree, no extravagant decorations. It was silent, but he was honest, because for the first time, we weren't pretending Tyler was going to show up. We accepted that it wasn't going to happen, and he moved on. At the turn of the year, alone in the room, Rachel asked me, "Do you still love him?" I thought before answering. "I love, but not in the way I used to love." "Like this?" "Before, I loved with expectation. Now I love with acceptance." She remained quiet. "Do you think we made a mistake?" "Try. Are you from somewhere else?" "In everything. In giving without teaching. In facilitating without demanding. In loving without limits." She wiped away her tears. "Is it still possible to fix it?" I looked at her. "I don't know. But I'm not going to destroy myself trying anymore. Because I had learned something. You can love someone and still protect yourself. You can be a father and still have dignity. And you can accept that you did your best, even if your best wasn't enough. January 2025 has arrived. Tyler turned 22. I didn't care. I sent a message. "Happy birthday. I wish you all the best." He replied, "Thanks." And I didn't feel anything, neither anger nor sadness, just a strange peace, the peace of those who have finally stopped fighting. In February, Jenna called me. I was surprised. I answered. "Hi, Jenna." "Hi, Mr. Hayes. How are you?" "Everything. And you?" "Break. Tyler and I broke up." My stomach tightened. "I am really sorry." "Okay, I'm calling because I think you deserve to know something." "What?" She took a deep breath. "Tyler sold the watch because he wanted to impress some guys from his fraternity. They were making fun of him for being a goody two-shoes. He wanted to prove he was independent, that he didn't need his parents. It was a bet. He sold it and spent it all in one night." Silence. "Did he tell you that?" He told the story, drunk, finding it funny. I didn't know what to say. She continued. "I ended it because I realized he doesn't know the value of anything. Not of people, not of things. And I got tired of trying to teach him. Thank you for telling me. Sorry if that hurt more." "No. You only confirmed what I already knew." She remained quiet. Then, "You did the right thing in cutting off the money. He needs to learn on his own." I hung up. I told Rachel. She cried with anger. I didn't cry, because the pain had turned into understanding. Tyler wasn't bad. He was immature, and immaturity cannot be fixed with money, gifts, or unconditional love. It is fixed with consequence. And I had finally given one. March has arrived. Silence. April. Nothing. May. Rachel received a message from him asking if she could come to his house in the summer. She showed me. What should I answer? "Ask why," she asked. "Tyler, because I want to see you guys." "Rachel, and your father?" "Tyler, me too." Rachel showed me. I took a deep breath. "Tell him he can come, but no money, no favors, just talk." She agreed. June. Tyler arrived, thinner, unshaven, torn backpack. He greeted me, no pats on the back, with a handshake. "Hi, Dad." "Oi, Tyler." We sat down, the three of us. Uncomfortable silence. Then he said, "I came to apologize." I looked at him. "Why?" "For everything. For the clock. For the shit I said. For being a piece of shit." He was crying. Rachel held his hand. I stayed quiet. He continued. "I didn't understand. I thought you were obligated to give me everything. And when you stopped, I got angry. But then, I realized, I never did anything to deserve it. I took a deep breath. You don't need to deserve love, but you do need to deserve respect. He nodded. I know. And I didn't respect you. Silence. I don't know if it can be fixed, he said. But I want to try. I looked into his eyes, and for the first time I saw something real, not mandatory, no blame, just wishful thinking. Let's see, I said. He accepted, and that was enough. Tyler stayed for 5 days. No cell phone, no rush, just the present moment. We fixed the backyard fence. We painted the garage. We talked. Not about the past, about now. He told me about his debts, about his loneliness, about losing friends because of his immaturity. I talked about the disappointment, about the emptiness, about having failed as a father. And do you know what happened? Nothing magical, only honesty. Honesty hurts, but it heals. On the last day before leaving, Tyler called me in the garage. I know I can't get the watch back, but I found this. He handed me an old photo. It was my father, wearing his watch, smiling. Where did you get it? I went through Grandma's photo albums before she died. I kept them. I thought you'd want them. I took the photo. And this, time, I cried, not out of anger, relief, because he understood that it wasn't about the object, it was about remembrance, and memories can't be sold. Keep it safe. Tyler hugged me, in truth, and for the first time in years I felt my son, not the stranger who lived in my house, my son. He left. He promised to call. He called, every week, not because I asked, because he wanted to, and that made all the difference. Today Tyler is 23, works, pays the bills, studies at night. He still makes mistakes, but learn, and I learned that too. Love without limits is not love. It's negligence. Gifts without physical presence are bribery, and the children don't need everything. They really need it. My father's photo is on my desk, next to a new one, Tyler and I fixing the fence. It's not perfect, but it's real. And in the end, real is always worth more than perfect, because perfection is an illusion. Reality is reconstruction, and rebuilding hurts, but it's worth it. It always applies. If you've made it this far, thank you. Truly. Did this story resonate with you? Leave a like. Not because of the video itself, but because you understood it. Because you know what it means to give too much, to expect too much, and to need to stop. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe. I post stories like this every week. Real, raw, unfiltered. And look at that video on your screen now. Click on it. Because if that story touched you, that one will finish fixing you inside. I promise. See? You there.